Good morning, students. Today we are going to start our first chapter, and its name is Crop Production and Management. So, firstly, the introduction is what we are going to cover is firstly basic introduction of the chapter. Second part will be the crops and its types. Next is agriculture practices, agricultural implements, manures and fertilizers, irrigation, crop protection, and animal husbandry. So, at the first and foremost, we should know what is agriculture. Agriculture is the branch of science that deals with growing crops and using animals for human use is known as agriculture. So, what is agriculture? That is the branch of science that deals with growing crops and using animals for human use is known as agriculture. It begins about 12,000 years ago. Today, nearly 40% of the world's population is employed in agriculture. This number is highest in India. That is, about 60% of the people are engaged in agriculture. In India, this agricultural revolution started in 1960, known as Green Revolution. Now the second part is horticulture. What is horticulture? That is the branch of agriculture that deals with the production of vegetables, fruits, flowers, and decorative plants. Now, one we have studied, that is agriculture, and second, that is the branch of agriculture, is known as horticulture, right? So, both are similar to each other. Both are connected to agriculture only, but is usually carried out on a smaller scale, that is horticulture. Horticulture is usually carried out in a small scale. Now we will study about crop plants. What are crop plants? And firstly, we should know what is a crop. When a large number of plants are grown at the same place for food, that is known as a crop, right? So when a large number of plants are grown at the same place for food, that is known as a crop. Cereals were the first crop introduced and known to be cultivated. Cereals was the first crop that was known to be cultivated. Now, what are cereals? Cereals are tall grasses which are cultivated for their nutritious seeds. Cereals are tall grasses which are cultivated for their nutritious seeds called food grains. Right? And wheat and rice are the most important cereals in the world. Now, classification of crops. Crops are classified on the two bases. First one, on the different kind of crops, and second one is according to the season. On the basis of kind of crops, there are three types. First one is food crops, second plantation crops, third one is cash crops. What are food crops? Crops grown as food for humans and animals. What are plantation crops? Crops grown in large states for the purpose of marketing. Third one is cash crops. Crops grown mainly for profit and not used by the farmers. Now, on the basis of season, crops can be classified into two types: kharif crops and rabi crops. According to the two seasons, first one is kharif season and second one is rabi season. Okay. Now, what are kharif crops? Those crops which are sown at the beginning of monsoon. That is grown in the rainy season. Right? And what are rabi crops? Sown at the beginning of winter season. That is October to December, and harvested by March or April. Okay, and these kharif crops are harvested after monsoon, and these are harvested by March or April. And which crops are known as kharif crops? That are paddy, maize, cotton, etc. And what are rabi crops? Gram, pea, mustard, etc.